Hey there and welcome back. So, I had a whole video shot. It was set up to be a pretty nice coverage of rebuilding this Nicky carburetor and all the troubles I've had, but I lost all of that footage. I messed up the SD card. I don't have any of it. A link to the video I referred to at a few points from PFund41 for the cleaning and rebuild in the description, so check that out. So, I don't have any of the rebuild footage to show you right now, but soon I may have a similar carb as part of another project to show, and it will be much better because I won't have any of the issues that I did, which is what I wanted to talk about here. I took a chance on some cheap carb parts from Amazon, and I knew I was taking a chance, but I didn't think it would be this bad. Check out the description on part 1 of this mower, which I'll be updating with capital letters to say don't buy this kit linked below. For starters, the main plastic part, which houses the main jet in here, the float needle and float, it doesn't even fit on the emulsion tube. The emulsion tube is the long brass looking tube extending into the bowl from the body of the carb. It goes into that hole there. In order to work, this part would have to seat fully against the body of the carb. This one doesn't even fit without the main jet installed. There is solid interference with probably a 1/4 inch gap left between the plastic and the body of the carb. So this is complete junk, not usable. I did use the float because it was identical in function. The only difference is it was a little bit cleaner. The main gasket was good. I did use that. This is the old one. Next up is the fuel inlet O-ring. This is the old one. This is the one that I sourced from Ace Hardware. So when I was going through the kit that I got, the one sent in with the kit was very small and required a good bit of stretching in order to fit around the fuel inlet of this plastic part. It didn't fit into the hole on the body of the carb either. I found one closer in size to the outer dimension of this one and the inner dimension of the hole that this goes into, which is this one here, but it was too large also. So I ended up just stretching the other one and greasing it up and pressing it in there. I got it as close as I could and let the screws that hold the bowl on hopefully press it in the rest of the way over time. It seems to be working since the carb isn't flooding over or anything, but just take a look at the size difference between those two. I don't think that's something that just happens over time. I think these are irregular O-rings. They're not just plain O-rings. They're an actual seal made for that dimension. Hopefully you can see that well. So that was another thing I fought with. This main jet, I wish I had pictures of the differences, but it was different enough that I didn't think it was worth the risk to use it. I had more issue with, again, the O-ring that was supplied with it. It was way too large. In order to fit into where the main jet rests, right in there, and it comes in from this angle like that, with the O-ring resting in that groove. Well, that O-ring was so much wider than the slot that goes into that it would just never fit. So I ended up just cleaning up the old one and reusing it. It looked well enough. So the little foam cushions, this is the one that came off of the choke lever. That one I did end up using because it has to wrap around the spring and there's a little something to keep it stretched out enough. But the other one that I had planned to use for the throttle lever, it's too small and it left gaps on both sides. I just wasn't comfortable with that, so I just put the old one back on. I didn't end up using any of these. The ones that were on there look like they were good enough. I'll keep these for the future. They might fit. I haven't checked. This guy, this needle, looked to be a different length. At least the threads are. From here to here. On the other one it was longer. I wish I still had pictures of that, but it was different enough to where I didn't feel like it was worth the risk to use it. And last but not least, this float needle. Oh man, this is the worst matchup I've ever seen. I have pictures. The metal one is the one supplied with the kit. The plastic one is stock. That is miles from correct. Like, I can even show you here. Look at how much space is around that needle. There's no way that would seal right. It's just not going to work. So whoever put this kit together as a comparable replacement for that Briggs & Stratton part number I listed, which is 796184, absolutely nowhere near correct. It should not be sold with that part number under any circumstances. Just complete junk. And it was all carelessly crammed inside this Ziploc bag and fisted into a mailer. Like, so I called and I got my money back. It was only $7.50, but it was more the insult of how far off these were. So don't be like me is the moral of the story. You get what you pay for. I cheaped out. It bit me. I lost a lot of time tinkering with these parts that didn't fit. And then to lose all the footage too is just a kick in the teeth. So don't be like me, just buy good quality parts. Also, real quick, just wanted to talk about the anti-backfire solenoid I ordered. So I ordered 2 of them just in case one of them was dead on arrival. I've never held one of the good OEM ones, so I can't tell you if they're supposed to be, you know, all jiggly like that. I would think that there'd be a seal there to keep fuel from flooding the solenoid, but maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that's how they're supposed to be. All I know is the one that I installed, it seems to be working because nothing's flooding over. You can hear it click every time you turn the key on. So it seems to work. Is it as good as the OEM one? I don't know. One more quick tip for you. Just a tip, mind you, and not for long. So in PFun41's video, a couple minutes in, he'll reference some metering passageways. These are air passages to and through the carb. You will need a set of welding tip cleaners to get those holes. I needed the smallest one on here, which is number 26, in order to reach through one of these holes. I wish I had the carb body with me to show you, but it's right at the end of this, right where that hole is. Inside that hole there's a small orifice, and then farther inside that there's an even smaller orifice that number 26 fits into. Nothing larger. And cleaning out those air passageways is critical to solve the surging issues that we were seeing. So make sure to get those all really clear and look to PFun41's video for a better synopsis of those passageways. I'll try to find the other video that I found that talks more about those passageways in depth, but they're very important. There's this one goes up to a channel that runs through the body of the carb. So there's one outlet over here and another one in a little slot over by the throttle. So this hole and those two should connect. There's another one that comes down here to a hole over there. The hole above it comes to another hole in the body of the carb. So make sure that you can blow air through all three of those passageways as far as they go. So now I'll continue with the rest of the footage that I do have from the GoPro. This starts at the point where I was installing the carburetor and checking for leaks from flooding over before cinching it up, and that's where we'll begin. Okay, I'm gonna connect it to this guy first. Apparently left the key on because you can hear it clicking already. That's good. So I'd like to let it just kind of hang here for a minute with gas running through it, to it, and see if it floods over like it did before. I think just sitting there like that with a good gap there just in case, because I've already changed over to the good oil. I don't want to impregnate it with gas also. I'll just go ahead and get these hooked up. Alright, moment of truth. Well, so far so good. No sign of fuel just dripping out of it. Let's say we button her up and give it a try. If this does become my mower for personal use, I will add a fuel shutoff in line, and that would allow me to winterize it by running the carburetor dry. Alright, everything's hooked back up. Let's open the garage and see what happens. Okay, here we go. That's running great, actually. There's a little bit of surging here and there, but it evens out and stops surging, but it idles and you can kick it up nicely. Wow. Let's try it again, see if there's any adjustment that might make that better. Wow, yeah, that's just miles difference from where it was. It runs smooth, it responds to throttle changes, very little surging, if any at all. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Tell you what, let's see if we can get some air in that tire and try to move it some. Alright, so I don't know if this tire actually has a hole in it or anything like that, but it did come off the bead on this backside, so I'm going to use the ratchet strap trick. This is where you put a ratchet strap around the center of the tire and tighten it, and it'll push both the center beads of the tire outwards. And then you just try to give it a little bit of air and hopefully it'll seat. So, here goes nothing. Try repositioning the ratchet strap some. So I went ahead and took the wheel off and I've actually pushed it onto this back bead by hand. Now we're going to push on the front while we apply air and see if that goes. There it goes. Sweet. Time to take that ratchet strap off. Sweet. Let's put it back on. I went ahead and put the engine cover back on and cleaned up the seat. So I'll find a nice position for you, maybe on my head, and putt around here in the garage a little bit, pull it back and forth, make sure the gears and the transmission work and the mower deck engages, and go from there. Okay, here we go. I wonder if I took the mower deck off this thing if it could do wheelies. Well, that's sweet. The headlights work. The mower deck, the first time I tried to engage it, it stalled. I don't know if that was because I was in gear at the same time. So there might be something up with that tensioning mechanism down there. But I'll have to take a closer look at that. The whole top of the mower deck is full of crud that needs cleaned off anyway. And gotta try to bend this hood back into place, and this bracket down here obviously is pretty well messed up. So that's gonna be it for this one. We got air in all 4 tires. Did the front ones to 14 and the rear ones to 10 psi, and everything seems to work. So that'll be it on this one for now. I'll have to make a decision with the wife and see if we want to purchase it from the owner now that we know it'll run and everything. But the one lesson I've learned from this one is just buy good carburetor parts. I spent so much time messing around with the cheap parts trying to get them to fit. It just wasn't, probably not worth the money. If this was my mower, I would put all the nice name brand stuff on it, but it's not my mower yet. So thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you next time.